So last night, I did something that I've never done before and honestly kind of really creeped me out once I was like awake enough to really understand the implications. And yes, I know there is like a whole like, you are the only person that cares about your dream last night. But you know what? You're watching my YouTube video, so darn it, I'm gonna talk about dreams. As you probably know, the thing that like terrifies me the most in life is that none of this is real and I am inside of a dream. Which probably got its start way back, the first traumatizing, basically, experience that I had as a child involving dreams. And Full House. I am not kidding. The first time I can ever remember, like, even my mind being open to the possibility of something so terrifying as like not knowing if you are awake or asleep came from that episode of Full House where the girls are teasing... Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. What's her name? Michelle. Yeah, Michelle, right? They're teasing her about having big feet. And that night, she dreams that her feet absolutely swell up to gargantuan sizes and basically like crush the rest of the family, if I remember correctly, from like when I was like 8. But then she bolts out of bed. Oh, awake. It was all just a dream. Everything's normal. And she goes to reassure herself of this fact and takes off her covers only to realize, no! Her feet are still massive!
Oh, thank goodness. It's just a dream.
That moment absolutely terrified me as a kid. I literally, that night when I was in bed, I kept lifting off the covers to see if my feet were gargantuan and I just didn't realize it. The idea that I was unable to sense what is reality and that my idea of what was real is not objective reality terrified me then and still terrifies me to this day. And I think that is what is so scary about the concept of dreaming to me, is that in the moment you fully accept this as normal even though it's not. And maybe that's, you know, this reality too. And I used to reassure myself that, oh, you know, when you're in a dream, you won't ever think that you're dreaming because your brain just accepts it as reality. So if you ever think to yourself, am I dreaming? That means you're not. Well, that was wrong, because I have thought that inside of a dream multiple times. And I know there are certain, like, tests you can do, right? To know if you're dreaming, you know, looking at a clock and seeing if that makes any sense. Trying to use a cell phone. Frickin' just putting your hands, usually in a dream, one hand will go through the other, which is really creepy in and of itself. But at least I know that if I do one of those tests and the thing happens, I can, like, objectively prove that I'm in a dream. But what if even those are just part of this huge reality dream that I'm having? To really like explain why I was so creeped out and uncomfortable this morning, I probably should explain a little bit about the dream that I had. It was a pretty, you know, average run-of-the-mill. I was with a friend and then discovered I could fly and then zoomed around all through my town, like having fun, doing flips and barrel rolls. You know, a usual dream. That was not what was weird. But then in my dream, I woke up to having a sleepover with same friend. And then in my dream, I remembered talking, like, in a previous conversation about flying. And so, still inside the dream, I thought, oh, that must be why I had a dream about flying with you. Haha, that's so funny because everything makes sense. And that's what scares me, is that even now that I'm awake, that still makes sense. How did I just come up with these totally false memories, right? Normally in a dream, you just kind of accept reality. You'll be like dangling from a cliff, have absolutely no memory of how you got there. And in fact, that's one of the freaking tests to know if you are dreaming or not, is if you can remember how you got in the situation that you are now. This was talked about in freaking Inception. Remember that movie in 2010? Yeah, but in this situation, I could remember a false past, false memories that never happened. But I remembered them happening. But they didn't. That broke me for a little bit this morning. I was freaking out because, I don't know, who knows if this could be just another layer to the dream. And that really scares me. Like, I'm not amping this up for YouTube. I'm just like, seriously? That really scares me. And I don't know exactly why this fear of mine is so intense. Because it's not like, yeah, I had the Full House incident when I was a kid. That's what kickstarted it. But since then, like, it hasn't really been influenced by pop culture or media in any way. I don't. I'm scared of dreams getting too real, I guess. I'm scared that what I know as reality is just a dream. And one day, I'm gonna wake up.